Hi, everybody. Thank you so much for joining me today. I am Michelle Morris from Consolidated Planning Group. I'm so glad that you're here. I'm happy to be presenting this topic to you today about what is a letter of intent and do you need one? And how do you do that? So I want to go through a couple of things before we get started. First of all, yes, we record all of our webinars. So when you registered for this webinar, whatever email address you gave us, we will send the link for the recording to that email. You'll also get a copy of the slides that we're going through today. So you don't have to worry about taking copious amounts of notes or anything like that, because you can just re-watch it later. And this video, like all of our other webinars, will be put on our YouTube channel so that you can go watch it any time of day. If you need to leave early or something like that today, it will be out there for you. Always feel free to tell friends and other family members and other people you know who might find this video or our other videos beneficial. Tell them about us. We love that. So I cannot hear you or see you today because we are in webinar mode. So if you have any questions or comments, just go ahead and put them in the chat box. I'm keeping my eye on the chat box. So if there's anything you want to say, I welcome your interaction. I love that. So first of all, I want to go over a little bit about who we are and who I am so that you know why you should be listening to any of my advice at all. Um, I'm with Consolidated Planning Group. We are a holistic financial planning firm that focuses on helping families who have a loved one with some kind of developmental or intellectual disability. We are based outside of Houston in Sugar Land, and we serve families all across Texas and all across the United States, as a matter of fact. We have been in this industry for over 30 years. Allison, the company owner, when you see her picture later, you'll agree that she looks like so young. There's no way she could be doing financial services for 30 years, but she has. And she has two special needs kids. So when her kids were going through their teenage years and Allison was trying to get their benefits and plan for their future, she saw how difficult this all was. And she said, you know what? My company needs to focus on making it easier on families than what she went through. So we serve families all across the United States to try to make it easier on you. Like I said, over 30 years of experience in insurance and financial services, securities, investments, all of that stuff. We are fully licensed. We are also members of the Special Needs Planning Academy, and we are certified National Social Security advisors. So we take this very, very seriously to further our education and really be there to help families that we serve, like you. People come to us for special needs planning, and you might think, okay, well, what does that even involve? We're going to talk about a lot of that today. Some of the things, not the first thing, but some of the things that people come to us for are protection plans, protecting your family against risk, like the risk that you might become disabled and not be able to work anymore, or a parent could pass away early and leave a child or their family without them and without their income. What about, if you become disabled and you can't work anymore? These are all very real concerns that we help families with. We talk about lifetime care for your child. Once you are gone and you cannot be here to take care of them anymore, some kids are still going to need someone out there looking out for them. Maybe it's a residential community. Maybe it's a day program. Maybe it's roommates in a group home, or maybe they need just an attendant to check in on them. No matter what that situation looks like, it's not going to be free. So what does that care look like and how much is it going to cost? And we can help you determine those things and how you're going to set that money aside to be available in the future for your loved ones. We do a lot of transition planning help. There's some big changes that come around when your child turns 18 in terms of registering for benefits, applying for SSI and Medicaid, things like that that you need to watch out for that we help families understand. We do certainly set up ABLE accounts as well as life insurance and investments. We help families understand special needs trusts and beneficiaries. Just all of the nuances of special needs planning and planning for your future. And then, of course, like I said, we are here to educate you and to advocate for you. There are over 263,000 financial advisors in the United States. This is a statistic that we found on the Bureau of Labor Statistics website. And out of those 263,000 financial advisors across the United States, fewer than 200 of them focus on special needs planning. That's less than 0.1% of all the financial advisors in the United States who understand the nuances of having a child with some sort of intellectual or developmental disability and planning for that child. So it's really important that you have an expert organization on your team to help you plan for the future. So one of the biggest questions that people have, and I know that this probably keeps you up at night, is thinking about who will care for your child when you can't do it anymore. And it's really important that you develop a plan early. The earlier that you start, the better. Now, we're not going to make fun of you or, you're not going to get in trouble for planning that you haven't done yet. We're going to start from the now and go forward and say, okay, what do you currently have in place? What have you maybe missed? What can you turn the knobs on a little bit? And how can we make this better for you? Developing that care plan starts now. It doesn't matter if your child is an infant or in middle school or high school or an adult. You need to start getting this stuff done right away, because the longer that you have, the better, the more impact that you can have over the lifetime of your child. But even if you're starting late, that's okay. It's time to get going and get those things in place before you're gone. We want you to think about what's going to happen after high school. Your child might want to just graduate to the couch so that they can play video games all day long, but you probably don't want that for them. And, they want to be productive members of society and have something to do and somewhere to go. So what does that look like for your family? Would that be an educational opportunity beyond high school? There's lots of programs available. There are residential opportunities and communities where they can go and live and make friends and work in their community. There's vocational options. Think about those things while your child is young so that you can go out there and find the best fit for your family. Tour these communities and get on the waiting list. They might have a long waiting list, and I would hate for you to find the perfect fit and be ready to move your kid in and everything is great, and then you find out, oh, hit the brakes. There's a wait list. So think about these things early. And, a lot of parents say, well, Jacob has a sister. That's my son's name. I'll use his name for my examples. Jacob has a sister, and Sarah can just take care of Jacob when they get older. It's all right. She'll be fine. Well, maybe Sarah in her later years is going to have her own family, her own job, her own troubles, her own situation, and taking care of Jacob might become more than she was planning on. It might become a bigger bite than she imagined she was taking. And, maybe Jacob, all these years, he's had this loving sister and they've been siblings and everything has been going great. But now Sarah wants to act as a parent. Jacob might have a little bit of a resentment towards his sister if now all of a sudden she wants to be parenting him. So that it can create a little bit of friction either way. So just be careful if that's your plan for the future. We're not saying it doesn't work for some families. We're not saying it's wrong. It can create some trouble, and we don't want that to happen to your family. It's wrong way. Okay, so today we're going to be talking about the letter of intent. And what is a letter of intent? How is this going to help you and your family? Why is it important? So first of all, and like I said, feel free to put any questions or comments into the chat box as we're going along. I certainly welcome your input. A letter of intent is really important for you to put together. It is not a legal document. It's nothing that you have to have notarized. You don't need a lawyer's help to get this together. But what it can do for you is it can help if somebody needs to step in because you maybe pass away or you become very ill and you can't take care of your loved ones. The letter of intent is so that somebody can step in and understand what they need to do to best help your family. They need to know all about your child, their functional abilities, their routines, interests, and their likes and dislikes. It's so important. So maybe, you become ill and your sister or your cousin or anybody needs to step in. You have probably already forgotten more information about your child than anybody else even knows. You know all of these things, like it's just second nature to you to understand about your child and to know what they need. But somebody coming in isn't going to know all that. So it's really important to have a letter of intent for those people. You might already have a will, or a trust. You might already have a special needs trust. You might have guardianship, your power of attorney, your healthcare power of attorney. And those things are all important and they're all great to have. But this is different. This is, making sure that the everyday items are understood and taken care of. Of course, it's so important as a special needs financial planner that you make sure your child's financial future is taken care of. And that you've planned for their legal needs with guardianship and the special needs trust. But this is another facet of a comprehensive plan that you need to be thinking about if you have a child with special needs. You need to make sure that somebody is going to be able to come in and take care of them. They would never do as good of a job as you do. They would never replace you, but they need some guidance and a push in the right direction. And that's what this will give. So a letter of intent will help communicate your knowledge and your hopes and desires for your child's future well-being. Before I was in the financial industry, I was a teacher. I was an English teacher. English and grammar and writing and literature, all of that stuff, that's right in my wheelhouse. So when it comes to writing a letter of intent, it might be a little bit intimidating to some people who, didn't grow up being writers and editors. Not everybody is interested in writing. So this might not come easy for you. So I really want to talk to you today about how to do this in a way that will make sense to the reader, will be easier on you, and will get the point across of what you need to tell people in order to help. So the English teacher in me wants you to start this as a Word document on your laptop and start with the facts. Those are easy. You know your child's diagnosis. Start with their name, birth date, when they were born, where they were born, their diagnosis history, who their doctors are, what other health history they have, what medications are they on, not just what medications, but what are the dosages and what are those medications for? If somebody walks into your house and needs to run things, they need to know, where are these medications? How much does your child get and what time of day? Of course, who are the treating physicians? Does your child see a psychiatrist? We need to know about that. What about their broader team, occupational therapy, speech therapy, ABA? Who's your team that helps you take care of your child? And then, you're going to get into, what are their likes, dislikes? Do they have any allergies? Those sorts of things. And I feel, once you get into these facts and then you start talking about their likes and dislikes, your writing of this letter of intent is going to just naturally flow into more of the the random things kind of that are unique to you and your family and your child. Every child is different. And this letter lets you put your specific circumstances in a letter for somebody to be able to read. Now, this is a living document. This is something that, as your family grows and evolves and as things change, you can go in there and update this letter. So like I said, I would suggest that you start on a laptop. You do your best over several days, maybe take a week or a month, that's fine, and get out what you can, and then print. Maybe you have like a grab and go binder for your child, or a folder or something like that already kind of starting to form. Put this letter in there. You do not want your letter of intent to be locked up on your computer behind privacy passwords and somewhere on your drive hidden in your computer is this document. You want it to be easy for someone to find. So print that document, but keep it on your computer as well. And then maybe in a few months, you go back to it, you take a look and read over what you had written. Oh, well, he's not obsessed with ramen anymore. Now he'll only eat chicken nuggets, so I better change that. Oh, he doesn't like to have a bedtime story anymore. Now his bedtime routine includes this instead. Anything in there that has changed, you can update, but then print a new copy and get it in that folder, get rid of the old copy. So that way it will be always up to date and it will be easy for somebody to find if they have to step into your shoes. So this is the kind of information that you can put into your letter of intent. Whatever is important to you and your family. But like I said, what is somebody going to need to know? Your family information, medical history, what government benefits are they already receiving, or what are they on the wait list for? What living arrangements have you set up for your child, if any? What accommodations do they have at school? What is their educational history? Do they have troubles in school? Are they, they love going to school? What's going on there? Think about their employment history. Not only their history, but also, do you think that they will ever be able to hold a job? Are they in a vocational program like the Texas Workforce vocational rehab program. Think about their personality and their habits. What are some things that will completely cause a meltdown? Or what are some things that you can do if your child is already in meltdown mode to calm them? What about recreation and fitness? What do they like to do for their, activities? How does fitness fit in as part of their life? Does it at all? What about spirituality and values that you hold dear for your family? Do you want your child to be raised with a specific religion, religious belief, or without specific religious beliefs, or, certain values that are really important that your child has in their heart, like you have? Who are their legal guardians? Do they have a special needs trust? And where is that information? And who is in charge? Who's the trustee? Where is that money invested? What about the power of attorney? You might have a financial power of attorney, a medical power of attorney. Do you have that stuff in place? Where is it? Where is all this important information? In the best world, it would all be copies in this binder that you're going to have put together with the letter of intent in there. But if not, make sure somebody can find it if they need to. Like I said before, who is your team? Who are the main contacts that people can reach out to for help? Your attorney, your accountant, your special needs planner and financial advisor, your insurance companies. What insurance do you have? Who do you bank with? All of these things are very important. And if you've made any final arrangements already for your loved one. Now, some people think, oh, fine, I'll just do this. I'll just put it together. And put your own opinions in there and your own feelings. But you should consider letting your child help you, and not just your child, but your whole family. Because, your child wants their hopes and dreams to be heard too. And they have their own opinions on these things. And your other family members might be really good about reminding you of other things that can go in this letter. For example, maybe one of your children has a great insight about how Jacob likes to play or what they like to do in their free time that you weren't really privy to. Or maybe, your child has different goals for their future than what you have, and you need to kind of let people know, oh, Jacob thinks he's going to be a rock star when he graduates from high school, but in the best of all worlds, maybe he can at least take lessons, put their hopes and dreams and your views in there as well. But definitely bring in your entire family on this project. It doesn't have to be just on you. Even if you're the one who really takes care of this kind of stuff and you're the one who knows the most about your family, your other family members can be very helpful. So here's some examples to help you get started and to help you think about things that you might want to include and ways that you could write this letter of intent. Hannah likes to dress herself, but she needs a little help picking out the right outfit. She sometimes needs help with buttons and zippers and deciding what is weather appropriate. She really enjoys wearing clothes that are soft and nothing that is scratchy on her skin. She prefers colorful clothing and pants instead of skirts. And she likes to walk to school with her friends Lena and Scotty, with me following closely behind. So this tells somebody who might come into your household, okay, she can get dressed, but maybe I'll help her with the buttons instead of, just trusting that she can do it all on her own. And then we get in the car and I go to drop her off at school. And all of a sudden I think I'm doing the right thing, but I've completely rocked her world. Her shirt isn't buttoned correctly. Her shoes aren't tied and she hasn't walked to school with her friends. And now I've thrown off her whole day because I simply didn't know. It's important, these little things. Maybe you could say something like, in the mornings and before bed, Hannah can brush her own teeth, but she won't do it unless you tell her to. That's something I've heard before, right? When she is told to go upstairs and get ready for bed, she doesn't remember the steps that she needs to take. You have to tell her one thing at a time. Go brush your teeth, and then get your pajamas on, and then get into bed. Something like that. Whatever your child needs, how they operate, these are things that can go into the letter of intent. And really, it's not meant for you to broadcast this information all over the world. This isn't something that everybody in your neighborhood is going to read. This is something that people who care about your loved one and who want to help are going to be reading. So don't be shy. Some things might be a little embarrassing, toileting, um, you know, getting them to where they need to be, having to lift and help them move and feed them and things like that. Those are all things that you have to deal with on a daily basis. And there's no reason to just imagine that that's going to be a problem going forward. The people who are going to be reading this are the people who want to help and who are going to be there to help. So no shame in this game, right? So we do have a workbook that'll make things a little bit easier on you in terms of putting this letter of intent together, in case you're not like me and don't think that you can just start writing and write it all out. This will give you areas to write in. You can just fill in the blanks. You can, it'll help remind you of different things that you need to be thinking about and things that need to be in the letter of intent. So everybody who is here today and everyone who registered, excuse me, we will get you a copy of this letter of intent workbook. So it's really important because, 53% of caregivers say that their own health has worsened since they started providing care for someone else. And that decline in their own health has affected their ability to provide care to their loved ones. It's a really, really tough job to be taking care of someone else. And many caregivers, even just parents, but with situations where you are actively taking care of someone in this way versus just parenting, boy, that stress and those concerns are multiplied just crazy amounts because you're really in the thick of it. 55% of caregivers are unaware of how to put together a lifetime financial plan for their special needs dependent. And that's where we really come around to help. Most people don't understand all of the ins and outs of benefits and special needs trusts and waivers and ABLE accounts and how much money your child is going to need to be taken care of once you're gone and what that looks like. At Consolidated Planning Group, we always plan conservatively because we would prefer that you have more than you need at the end of your life and that your child has more than they need. And then you can use that money for fun extras. We would rather that you have it and not need it rather than not have it and be stuck. We see your child's care as an expense to the parents as long as you're alive. This is something that you're going to have to pay for out of pocket. You're going to have to use your savings and insurance and planning to figure this out. And of course, your child's benefits help too. But then we figure out, okay, when you pass away, if you have a certain amount of money that you can put into your child's special needs trust, that amount of money will first grow a little bit because it will be invested, but then your child will start drawing it down throughout the rest of their life. And we can help you figure out what that dollar amount is that you can put into the special needs trust that will serve your child for the rest of their life. We assume in our planning world that everybody lives to age 90. So if you decide to work with us, then when you do, you'll have to let us know if you have other longevity requirements, because we give everybody to age 90. We're not going to play God, but it's really important to figure out how to plan for that future. It's like a third bucket of retirement money. You're saving, you're working, you're preparing for your own retirement, and maybe your spouse is preparing for their retirement. But now you have this third bucket of money that needs to be filled to make sure that there will be money to take care of your loved one. So some more things to keep on your radar. And man, this is going to be a really short webinar if you guys don't start asking questions. Other things to keep on your planning radar. How to develop that special needs care plan. Of course, we help with that. We do that every single day. The future care cost estimate. And that can be, the future cost of care if your child needs full residential care, or maybe they just need an attendant or a day program. Who knows? But this is not the cost of care right now. This is the cost of care 20 or 30 years in the future when your child is actually going to need it. And then thinking about how long they might be in that care, how much it's going to cost overall. Of course, we help families get signed up for all of their benefits, like the Texas waiver programs. If you're not familiar, the Texas waivers are meant to help you waive off certain costs of care, like transportation, medications, dental care, therapies, nursing hours, respite hours, things like that. And the wait lists here in Texas can be very, very long. I'm talking 20 to 25 years. So it's important that you get on that list as soon as possible. If you haven't yet, don't give up on it, because even if your child doesn't receive services until they're 40 years old, it's still going to be valuable to them. These waivers can even help pay for housing. Some of the waiver programs have very deep pockets. I've heard that they can, some of them can help up to $300,000 to a family over the course of a year. There are, SSI, SSDI applications that you're going to have to think about. That comes with Medicaid and Medicare when your child turns 18. You probably will not qualify for SSI before your child is 18 because of the asset and income limits. But when your child turns 18, they will be able to qualify on their own to get their SSI. Right now, the monthly amount for SSI is $943 a month. ABLE accounts. We talk about these a lot. What is an ABLE account? Why should I have one for my child? What's the point? Well, we set those up. You can come to us to set up an ABLE account. There's over 50 across the United States, and we prefer to use specifically one through the state of Virginia for our clients. How to designate your beneficiaries. So your life insurance, people typically say, my life insurance when I pass away is going to go to my spouse. First of all, of course, 100% to my spouse, put that as my beneficiary. But if my spouse is no longer here, I would like that money just to be divided up between my kids. That is what almost everybody says about their life insurance or investments or bank accounts, things like that. But if you have a child with a disability and they receive that life insurance money or your bank account money, then all of a sudden they've maxed out the limits on their criteria for receiving benefits like SSI. They're going to have too many assets. They won't be able to get their other benefits. So how do you designate your child as a beneficiary? You don't want to completely write them out of your will. You want to make sure that they have some money left to them because that could cause other issues. but you have to do it correctly. One of the correct ways, I just mentioned the ABLE account. That's one place where your child can have money. The other place your child can have money is in a special needs trust. So we can refer you to an attorney who would help you set up the special needs trust. And then we can talk to you about how you're going to fund it. We've talked a bit about the special needs trust today. There are two different kinds of special needs trusts. The better option for most families is a third-party special needs trust. And this is where you would leave your life insurance, or where grandma and grandpa could leave an inheritance to the third-party special needs trust. There's also a first-party special needs trust. Now, the first-party trust does come with a Medicaid reimbursement clause. So there's a little complication there, because when your loved one passes away, Medicaid can come and claim reimbursement on that first-party special needs trust. They can also do that on the ABLE account. So really the best place to leave especially larger sums of money is to that third-party special needs trust. Now, if child support is a thing in your life, you need to know that if your child will be getting child support after they turn 18, that could be counted as an asset in the eyes of the Social Security Administration. So you would need to make sure that that gets left to a trust, and it would have to be a first-party trust because of the nature of the child support. I've already mentioned residential communities, living communities. Make sure that you tour those early so that you can find a good fit for your family and get on their waiting list. You can start considering guardianship and alternatives to guardianship. You can get a power of attorney, healthcare power of attorney. There's even something called a supported decision-making agreement. It's kind of a gentleman's agreement between you and your child, where they say that, yes, I will listen to mom and dad because I know that I can't quite make all these decisions on my own. However, it is not binding. It's not legally binding. And then finally, post-high school educational options. You don't want your child to graduate to the couch, right? So there's a lot of options out there and things that you can sign them up for. Oops, I was trying to go scroll in the chat box and I scrolled the whole slideshow. I'm sorry about that. So do you offer webinars regarding housing assistance, like through the Medicaid waiver programs? Yes, we do. If you go to our YouTube channel, we have had actually, we've done webinars where we spoke with people who were at the Social Security office or at HCS and able to talk to us about those Medicaid waiver programs specifically. So you might want to go. That webinar might be a little dry, but it's so important and it was really good information. I can't remember exactly how long ago that's been, but if you go to our YouTube channel, you'll be able to find that. My question is based upon a young adult who is able to live independently without a caregiver, but needs financial assistance for rent. They're on the waiver waiting list and SSI, but his income is not sufficient to cover the rest of the rent, which is very common. And in these situations, you know, this young individual might need help from parents or loved ones to be able to cover the rest of those costs. Here's another question or comment. The letter of intent workbook gift that I mentioned we would send out, is this going to be mailed or an email document? This can be an email document. I think it's form fillable. So you can fill it out on your computer and then print, right? I mean, that's my suggestion. Print the latest version, keep that in a binder. So you can fill out the forms with all this information that will be beneficial and then print it out yourself. I don't think it's, you know, too many pages. Print in black and white, both sides of the pages, you'll be fine. Okay, so you're going to look on YouTube to find our other webinars. That is fantastic. Now, when it comes to the webinars that we have scheduled and still upcoming, you can use this link. It will take you to the events tab on our website. which is just consolidatedplanninggroup.com. But if you go register ahead of time for our webinars, you're going to receive reminders to join the webinar. Plus, after it's finished, you'll get an email with the slides and the link to the recording every time. So go ahead and register for our upcoming webinars as well. This is our whole team. If you've heard me speak before, you've heard me say, look at all these smiling faces. Please don't be rude and hang up on them when they call you. We will be reaching out either by phone, email, or text to try and see if you would be interested in meeting with us for your free consultation. Now, this is my last slide, so I'll give you at least 15 minutes back to your day. But the free consultation, what we do, it's over Zoom. They usually take between 30 to 45 minutes. Our first goal is to answer your questions. You know, maybe you have a question about this topic, the letter of intent. Maybe you have a question about SSI or an ABLE account or whatever it may be. We would love to answer your specific questions first. And then we want to get to know you and your family and help you in any way that we can. And then we'll tell you about how we work, what we charge for our consultation, for our services, not this free consultation. It's free, I swear. But we do have plan packages that we offer with different pricing. There are some things that we are able to offer at no charge to you that might be beneficial to you as well. So please schedule your free consultation. You can use the QR code here if that's something that you feel comfortable with, or you can call the office or email us, or you could just wait for us to reach out to you, because that is one thing that we will be doing. You can follow our YouTube channel. These are links down here that you can use to go straight to the social media we have: YouTube, Instagram. The little microphone there is our podcast, and the Facebook page is on there as well. And thank you so much for asking in the chat box. Yes, when you sign up to have a free consultation with us, we have a short questionnaire that you have to fill out, or else we cannot meet with you. It's not difficult. We're looking mainly for demographic info. You know, who are you? What do you do? Who is your child? What are their diagnoses? What are your questions? What do you have going on, basically, so that we don't walk into this meeting blind. Nobody sees this information. It is secure and encrypted. And if you feel uncomfortable answering any of the questions, just leave it blank. But we will not meet with you unless you fill out your questionnaire. So thank you very much, Lisa, for bringing that up. All right. I see someone raise their hand. Robin, if you would put your question in the chat box, that would be the most beneficial, the easiest way for me to see it. Oh, thank you so much. Donna says, we just had our free consultation last night. So worth our time. We highly recommend taking 45 minutes of your time to meet with one of the consultants. I really appreciate that so much, Donna, because I do feel that we get a lot of information to our clients in these free consultations, and that it really is worth it. And, you know, we're people just like you. We don't bite. We're not going to try to force you to do something you don't want to do, but we will talk to you about what we offer and what we suggest. And then you do with it what you will. Hopefully you're going to decide to work with us on one of our plans. But again, I won't pressure you on that now. All right, Robin, did you want to put something in the chat box for me? Oh, okay. Robin, you don't have, oh, wonderful. Robin, you don't have a laptop, so you use the computer at the library. Sometimes libraries will allow you to print or find a friend or family member who can help you out. If you'd like to contact our office, we might be able Maybe. We might be able to print one for you and mail it to you. I don't want to offer that to the entire world because that's a lot of printing and postage. But if you really need help, please reach out to us. Our goal is to help people. And if that's what you need to make that happen, then we will help you. And all right, Donna, I see your comment. We're looking forward to working with you. If anybody else has any questions, listen, please contact us. I'm going to go ahead and put my personal email in the chat box so you can reach out to me directly if you prefer. But definitely sign up for your free consultation. We'll have a little chat, see how things are going for you. And I hope that I get to hear from you soon. So have a great week and we'll talk soon. Thanks, everybody. Oh, and go check out our YouTube channel. Bye. Thank you. Bye-bye. Thanks, Kirsten.